We poured these sidewalks. The owner got everything ready. You know, I came over, inspected it. I put my Forma-Key in. I'm going to show you how we did it. Well, today we're going to pour some concrete sidewalks. Now, every time I talk about sidewalks, you got to know where you're pouring it. I'm pouring this in Pennsylvania. It's different if you pour it in Florida or California. But I'm going to show you a couple things I do to get it ready. It's not my job, but I'm going to show you the basics of the way I get it ready. Now, I didn't form this, or I didn't put the modified in, but they had a big water problem, and here's what it'll look like when the rain came. This is modified. It's actually gravel with stone dust in it. See that? They come up with new fancy names for it. But what it does is it keeps the water out of here. So now he has, since he just put the modified in, he has no water problems down the cellar. Solved all his water problems. So when I pour this, I put a big pitch on it. I want to make sure the water goes away from the building. So what we did is we put this seal. I'll show you that at the end. I don't want the concrete touching anything. And we put this key lock, Forma-Key they call it, because if the concrete touches something, that's what's going to make it crack. I'll explain that at the end. And we put it all the way down against the building, because if the concrete touches the side of the building, when the frost comes in the winter time, it lifts up and it lifts down, it'll be knocking the plaster off the wall. That's why we use Forma-Key for everything. Separate these every 4 to 5 feet, and we use that against the wall. Some low spots.
Hey, you want one of those?
I got my big one. Right over it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a huge pitch on it. Alright. We go over it again. It says as soon as it's in, you get your lines in first. And that's right over the top of that key lock, key screed. Using, when you're using this key lock stuff, you just go by it with your finger like that. And you go over it again. And that metal is clean, you see? Just like that. Okay. Now, Mike, how do you know when concrete's ready? As soon as it swirls, it's ready. Don't listen to all them other guys that never lost a load of concrete. I got some bad concrete, but I never lost a load. So as soon as that's ready, you get on it, because you don't know concrete. It can take off in 10 minutes, it'll be gone. That's it. And then, get everything flattened out pretty good. Go right over it. See, dig it up a little bit. And then just give it the final push. I started this about 25 minutes ago. Did the whole thing by myself. But look at how hard it is already. I just made it. That's why I say, anytime you're doing concrete, start it as fast as you can and get on it. You're going to end up losing it one of these days. That's it. I'm all done with this. You see the discreet key down here. Once you get the big stuff off, it's easy to clean the next day. So we're all done with this sidewalk. I'm going to talk about that job a little bit. That was around an apartment building. So he was getting water down in the cellar. So the whole idea was to get the ground up, because you want the water to go away from the house, the rain gutters to go away from the house. That solves 90% of basement water problems, trust me. Modified, you use 2A, that's what they call it, and it's dense. And you put it in and the water don't go into it, it goes away from it. My whole driveway is modified. I don't use even blacktop or concrete. Modified, best thing in the world. 4,000 pound mix. In this area we use a strong mix. I use this Forma-Key. It's called Forma-Key or a key lock, and it just kind of holds the blocks together, because in the winter time, if the water does get under, it'll lift those blocks up and down. And that's why I use this seal. It comes like this, styrofoam, right like that. I buy that. I put it against the building, the concrete's against it, so if the frost does lift the sidewalk up or down, it's not going to knock the plaster off the wall. What works in Pennsylvania doesn't work in California. What works in California don't work in Alaska. What works in Alaska doesn't work in Florida. You got to ask the local guys. I have a video out, it's called Sidewalks Old School versus New School, where I go over to China, I look at their sidewalks, pavers, I go over to Europe and I look at their sidewalks. Whole different way of thinking. It was the old way of thinking, which I like a lot, so take a look at that. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.